Yeah, it's kind of funny to realize that after 1 week you're still halfway.
So we're 5.5 days out from Madeira, 1,036 miles, and then 1,700 to Puerto Rico, so 8 to 10 days. So a couple people have been like, great, we're halfway. We're not halfway. Like, we're not halfway. We still have like 2 days to be halfway. So we've done 1,000, we've got 1,700 to go. And then this is the dailies that we've been doing. So interestingly, we had a ton of wind early. We did 194 and then 165. We were really conservative. And then the last 3 days we've done averaged around 200. So 208, 188, 219. All right, here's where we are. This is the Azores High, literally parked right above the Azores, which is somewhat atypical. And we've been in the same like south to southwest quadrant of that weather system for like 6 days. It's sort of just followed us, which is magical. And then if you look like 1 day at a time, so this is 24 hours from now, so this is noon tomorrow, it's like following us. We're not going quite as fast as these polars predict, so we won't be all the way on the edge like that. And then the next day, it's following us. And then the next day, it's following us, right? And then this, like 72 hours from now, the Azores High merges with the trade winds, and it becomes like just the typical trade wind pattern. You know, there's an argument we could go a little bit further south to make sure we never lose the wind, but there's also an argument for like, it would be nice to sail a little bit in 10 to 15 knot winds and play with the spinnaker a little bit. We might go just as fast.
We must dissipate the power by restoring.
So yeah, we are in the mid-trip. In fact, it's kind of funny to realize that after 1 week you're still halfway. But I think we are getting along with the boat, the crew, and the trip. I think the coolest thing on this boat was steering the boat and feeling a very well-balanced boat on my hand with no such power to drive it. I mean, steering the boat at night in the middle of the ocean, that was really enjoyable for me. So I really like it.
My expectations have been fully met and probably surpassed, I would say. The boat's amazing, and everyone's getting along really well. Food, Guy Turner, who I had not met until now, is our official chef, and we've been eating really well. So it's a very important thing on a long trip. Waiting to catch some fish so we can fillet them up and have some fresh fish on the menu. And I'm having a great time sailing. Hand on the tiller, driving this boat, which flies along at, average seems like over 10 knots for the wind we've had so far, and we've had it up as high as 24. I've driven it at 19 knots, and it's rock solid. It's like a big laser. It's so responsive.
One thing I did not expect about myself is to experience a couple of days of, I guess, ennui. We left the island, we left Madeira, and then we were maybe out about a day. And I just felt my energy level just drop right off the charts, and couldn't quite pin it down. But I understand from lots of accounts of sea voyages that crew members can sort of collectively go through a slump, and then magically everybody has this new energy. You kind of go past the wall. And that was frustrating because I thought I would just be able to power through and just not be affected by whatever the forces are that kind of give you the blues at sea, I guess. We've had a lot of clouds, but in between we've had, the moonrise comes up and it's really spectacular. You'll have fleeting views of some of the planets, or maybe a satellite goes overhead. So the visuals when you're in the middle of really nowhere are pretty spectacular. They have the potential to be. Even watching a storm cloud roll in before you get doused in rain is kind of exciting in a weird way.
The thing I found most surprising is how much you get used to things. Early on in the passage, we were in 2 to 3 meter seas, which is about 6 to 8 feet, 6 to 10 feet. And early in the passage, we were a little bit freaked out by it because we thought the waves were huge. And then as the trip has gone on, we're routinely in 2 to 3 meter seas, and it's actually nothing exciting for us anymore. So it's just kind of interesting how everything just kind of becomes more normal as we go through the passage.
I'd say the biggest surprise for me is how vast the ocean is, and that I have the guts to be on this boat right now sailing across it. There's water all around us. There are also people that have been very helpful and surprising. The rest of the crew has become, I think it's trite to say like family, but it is kind of a family. Everyone's been getting along. No one's been sick. No one has been injured. Just little injuries. So I'm very thankful for that, and I'm quite surprised by that as well. There have been a few mishaps on the boat with sails tearing and high winds and all hands on deck, but we got through it with flying colors. And as we encounter more problems like that, we hope not to. But when we do, there's a better sense of calm, and also we know what to do to remedy the issue. So right now, we are sailing, and it feels like we're going 1,000,000 miles an hour. But we're probably only going about 15 miles an hour. 12 miles an hour? Thank you. The biggest negative that I've found has been the seasickness. We all knew it was coming. We've done everything we could to prevent it. But if you aren't medicated, or if you just are having a bad day, or tired or dehydrated, the seasickness can exacerbate. You can't leave the boat. There's nowhere to go. You have to make do. You have to find different things to help you feel better. And in such a small environment, sometimes it's just talking to one of your crewmates, letting them know, putting our heads together, figuring things out. There are plenty of anti-nausea and anti-emetic drugs on board. But another thing I have found useful, actually, which is not really within the scope of my personality, is breathing. I have a few breathing apps on my phone. And when I get really seasick and the meds are in, but they're not helping, I do 27 minutes of this breathing exercise. And what I found is that it helps you breathe, and you forget about the nausea because you're busy trying to match this breathing rhythm, but you also relax. And then what you find is that you're not fighting the movement of the boat any longer. You kind of come one with the boat. It's a little hokey, but as you're relaxing, all the herky-jerky movements and the pounding and the noise just seem to kind of flow together.
I know Mike pretty well, and Troy, who was with us earlier, but really don't know everyone else well at all. And so it's been really fun to get to know people in a context that you almost never have. And like once you're middle-aged, like you're not going on camping trips with random people from college and stuff like that. So that's been really fun. And then I think the other thing that's been really great is really kind of the natural experience, like experiencing the ocean at night with no one else around for hundreds or thousands of miles, and bright stars, and learning to kind of feel the waves and the wind. And that's just really, it's a very unique experience.
The expectations revolved around like responsibility and safety. And it's met those things. We were really prepared before we start. We have an experienced crew. And so, yeah, I think it has met expectations. We've been safe. There's like something breaks every day. There's literally every day something breaks. And that's just the reality of ocean crossing on a boat. I had this expectation that what would happen is the first 3 or 4 days, everybody's just really tired. Like you hardly see any other people. You're up for your watch and then you go back to sleep and people just sleep through it. And then you have all these people who are saying, I'm not seasick, but they're passed out on their bunk. And actually the first stage of being seasick is just being tired and lethargic. And so it takes a few days to get through that. And then like on day 5, I was expecting everybody to just like wake up and suddenly it's breakfast and we're all talking and chatting and having a good time. It's exactly what happened. So yeah, and since that day, so the last 3 days, 4 days, 3 days, I guess it's day 8. It's a little bit hard to keep track. People have been hanging out, having conversations. We had dinner together. It's been a little bit more social of an experience. And that's, yeah, it's in line with expectations, but also I expected it to be awesome and it is awesome. So yeah, it's not surprising, but it's been great.